Well, now. So what happens now? Is it time to poke around? There's always that 7 p.m. thing. So is it time to poke around and uncover secrets, or is it time for the grand finale? It is weird how the idea that we have so many powers. All of them, specifically. The full ring has been brought together. The Architect Insight. We have one remaining person to save, which I don't think we've ever seen before. They might be the guy that's been missing this entire time. Or maybe it's the person falling out of that window, because I'm still not 100% sure whether or not that's somebody I've been able to identify as being... I don't know if I've been able to identify that person or not. But what the hell is going on here? This place looks massive. It's a huge area to navigate, apparently. Also, still haven't got a chance to go back there. I think that door was sealed, but they clearly come from somewhere. The fact that the map's not filled in over there always made me think that maybe I'd get a chance to poke around and explore, but now it's starting to seem like that may not be the case. Because what if this is the ending? What if I can't even go back to the rest of the house? I don't know. I don't know. Ah, we're in the basement. So maybe I can connect back to that door over there. Huh. The elevator is a work of art. It appears to be wrought from pure gold, with one of the finest examples of a clockwork lift mechanism you could imagine. For it to be hidden down here is a selfish crime. Can I just take the elevator back? Candle burn clean and bright, reflecting what could be a pure gold paneling on the floors. Knowledge of this place floods your mind. Just like that, huh? Do you want to advance time? No. So this is not an elevator that takes me back. It's just a time advancer. Okay, we'll see what structure the rest of the game takes. 3 paintings of people you do not recognize. But what if I... Nope, can't use the mask here. How about now? Nope. Books appear to be written in a foreign language when you realize every page is filled with lurid descriptions of murders, handwritten in mirror writing. Oh. Maybe that speaks to why everyone's getting murdered here, of all places. A bank of electronics. The main console's labeled Theater. It looks highly technical, but some of the wires have been torn out roughly. Oh. Don't have reason to think I can do anything about that at the moment. Hello. Can I use these, finally? Mirror surface is flawless. Something about it makes you deeply uneasy. There are schematics for what appear to be some kind of explosives? They are too technical to understand, but they nibble at the edges of your memory for some reason. Machines, possibly undergoing repairs. That's all we can do here. Niggling at the edges of our memory, huh? Is that because of is that an influence of the masks we've obtained and their knowledges? Or is it because are we the person who set this up in the first place and somehow lost their own memories? Like, what the heck is going on in our heads? These pots appear to be pure copper. The collection is worth a small fortune. A large and very stinky couple of cheeses. And a cookbook entitled Cheese, Embrace the Stench. Oh, ornate dumbwaiter. There's still a statue arm inside. The same one, huh? So it connects. So that dumbwaiter does move, apparently. Bells alerting the servants that are needed upstairs. It looks like the servants' dining area, perhaps. So this is where they've all been coming from, the network that supports them. Dirty dishes piled high. It's perhaps the most comforting and homely thing seen in the mansion so far. Meanwhile, we're just constantly hearing people die on loop over and over again in the background while we're talking about the comforting sights we're seeing. Yeah, sure. Hello. I should be able to open you now. Ah. I'm a little disappointed how often our new skills are just used for getting collectibles as opposed to interesting progress of any kind. Box has been unlocked. There's something inside. The paintings on the wall are triptych with an inscription at the bottom. The story of Aoyagi. A small table for cards has been set up here. A series of books on the history of Japanese ghost stories. And we have these big murals in the background. One of which is basically just dedicated to a picture of a sun, really. Although it looks like the three are supposed to combine into a single painting. Possibly. You know what's eerie about being down here? There's no signs of anything. Ah. Have I found the part that doesn't sync up with the rest of the mansion over here that leads back to where I was before? That'll be curious if I can just go back. Two bottles of Chateau Margaux, 1787. Cabinets filled with 5 bottles of Moten Rothschild's 1945. Impossible. There are 2 bottles of Macallan M whiskey on display. The sheer cost. A secret meeting room hidden in the mansion. Just being in the room affords a sense of intrigue and power. So people have been down here sipping expensive, seemingly impossible wines. You discovered the secret passage to the basement. And soon it will load. There it goes. That was an odd moment. Yeah, there it goes. So that'll open up behind a painting. Books on the correct preparations of anti-venom. Some of the pages are worryingly well thumbed. It was behind you! All along. So I can revisit the rest of the mansion, huh? And just leave the exit just leave the ending entirely and go wandering for a while? So as a reminder, we got the ability to trigger memories and reveal secrets at certain areas of the mansion. Ooh boy. Ooh boy. That could be major. So did I unlock one earlier? Yeah, the basement. The Great Gold Elevator. Reginald Sixpence was one of the closest to the Marquis of all the guests who've revisited the mansion. The Marquis recognized that within Sixpence was a true spark of genius, and he confided and concluded with him like no other. Sixpence knew about the basement and created a mechanical elevator using sections of gilded steel that Orem had created to his specifications. For many engineers, knowing that their greatest work should be hidden in the depths of a basement would be an insult, but Sixpence truly lived for the pure joy of the challenge, a trait that perhaps would come to be misused. Okay, so some of these do require you to get a specific card, like here's the Jack of Hearts. An unknown power is needed. What unknown power is left? Queen of Diamonds, King of Diamonds. Okay, so some of these are clearly unlocked by new cards. The Dining Hall. The dining hall has never been used to hold a formal meal, as staff and guests alike find it deeply unsettling room to be in. A dumbwaiter connects down to the kitchen, as well as is usual in mansions of this size. At a somewhat macabre joke, the Marquis has the room laid out for a dumb supper, a meal for the dead, which was a reference that he was certain Willow would appreciate. He, however, found no humor in it whatsoever, or she did. A lot of these things require unknown powers. Why is that? Then a lot of cards. I'm kind of curious. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's not an unknown power though. Maybe I just need the power I have right now. Well, this could be my chance then. If I poke around, I can find out some secrets about this whole place. Should I check around down here, perhaps? We've already been here before, but not with this power. So you never know where it might light up. Hopefully they'll be nice, and like all the ghostly doors will no longer be ghostly and locking me out. Ah, there's the trap door. That's why I can't get back. My bad. That was the entire purpose of that, was to escape the, it was locked behind that horrible, like, carnival murder situation. At this point, we've witnessed most of the murders. Aside from the one mystery guest. Ah, the bar. I wonder, can you peek? You can't peek through this backwards, huh? And no one's currently in the bar. There's the bar. Shut up. I'm doing things. Okay. At the moment, though, no blue mask. I'm curious to see how far we may need to go to get it to actually trigger anywhere. Ah, here's a start. This room, you remember. The bar. The dance hall. The Marquis considered himself an audio pioneer who loved to experience and experiment with a truly eccentric range of music. By mixing the old with the new, he threw parties that offered something truly different for his guests. Nothing brought him more joy than seeing new and exciting dances created in order to keep up with the fresh sounds played in this dance hall. The Marquis liked to say that his balls were greatly admired by a high society, a comment for which he would usually be sharply rebuked by his wife. Yeah, phrasing. Ah, collectible. This is down by the security room from the beginning of the game. Now I can finally open you. And get another card, which might be a secret. Oh yeah, brochure. The Sexy Brutale. The Marquis's chamber. The Marquis had several offices that he used throughout the mansions, but his favorite was this room located close to the Sexy Brutale. He was always looking for new and interesting shows to host, building many bespoke stages along with his architect, Thanos Gorecki, for one-off performances. In recent years, many of the original furniture from the room has been relocated, and there are still many important personal touches to the room and secrets known only to the Marquis, or those very close to him. It was also believed that this room was where he kept some of his most famous and important personal artifacts and treasures. Ah, and I don't think I've broken you before either. That adds another card to the collection. Mine. And is that nope, that's not a brochure though. Alright, well, that's the first time we ever found one of those things. It's the first mirror room we ever found and the first breakable card thing we ever found from way back when. So I've finally been down here with the proper powers. Here we go again. The creepy fish room. Teach me things, creepy fish room. Guest rooms. Master aquarium. Realizing that aquariums were an excellent way both to please his wife and show off to his guests, the Marquis wanted to collect only the rarest of fish. The Devil's Hole pupfish is a tiny breed of fish existing solely in one muddy hole in one particular desert. Once every 100 years, a bizarre mutation will manifest, and one will grow to an enormous size and display extraordinary coloring. These are known as the Devil's Monarchs. Lucas obtained a government license to own and preserve one of these, much to his wife's delight. However, this is still not quite the rarest or most unusual creature kept in the mansion. Ah, also the portrait room. Makes sense. This room, you remember. Guest room again. Eleanor's painting room. A talented artist, Eleanor loved to paint and sculpt. She was, as Lucas liked to say, fond of making a mess. To create her studio here, Eleanor stripped and repainted every inch of the walls by hand, making it forever her own. The many paintings across the mansion are also exclusively Eleanor's works. She loved to adapt existing styles and put a flippant or unsettling twist on them. The Marquis, ever fond of secrets, sealed off the room behind the studio and installed a hidden door behind one of the paintings to create a luxurious chamber for his wife. Willow Blue's room. The Marquis met Willow when he traveled to the deep swamps of the south, looking for a truly special gift for his wife, a mythical juju guppy. He found Willow selling antiques in a tiny shop where every piece on display was more macabre and fantastical than the last. As if she had a second sight that allowed her to see the stories behind the artifacts. Willow now searches out unique and misunderstood curios for the Marquis to display in his mansion, and has been given her own room to stay wherein she returns each time from her travels. This year, Willow was horrified to learn the Marquis had finally tracked down that special gift and is keeping it in the mansion. Oh no. That's why she freaked out. Well, you know what? I bet there's also going to be a similar scannable thing in this next room over then. This is probably Yep, it's probably anyone's bedroom I can find. Tequila's room. Tequila, Belle, and Willow Blue always had a room reserved for them when they visited the mansion. Despite the Marquis's best efforts, Tequila never wanted any particular luxury lavished on her. She only needed a place to sleep and access to the practice stage. But this year, she had been a little disappointed by a patch of rising damp in her room, and to top it off, she hears noises at night. It sounds like dark secrets whispered in her ear, making it hard for her to sleep or dream without images of terrible visions coming at her from deep, cold places. This is the practice stage, I think? Must be. Band room. The band room was another practice room for any of the guests or entertainers of the mansion to make free use of. It was actually most popular with several members of staff who had their own full house club band that would frequently play during the masked balls each year. It was little known secret that many members of the house staff were musicians who actually came to serve at the Sexy Brutale for the sole reason of gaining access to the treasure trove of instruments that the Marquis had accumulated. More valuable even than the instruments, however, is the opportunity to talk and learn from the extraordinary caliber of musicians who visit the mansion. So to be clear, I'm just poking around, basically seeing what I'll find. I don't know if I'll get completion. I probably won't get like a completionist score or anything like that on these pieces of lore, but I'm going to poke around and see how many I can grab, doing a quick lap around the mansion. Because it might take a lot more poking around to get all the last ones after that. But I figure I'll at least try to get a bunch. Might just be one episode's worth, I suppose. Speaking of which, Tequila's stage. The stage within the music room wing of the mansion features one of the several delicate stained glass murals commissioned by the Marquis, designed by the architect genius Thanos Korecki created by master goldsmith Aurum Runes. The Marquis created this stage room primarily as a gift to the singer Tequila Belle, who is regarded as a living national treasure due to her extraordinary voice and talent. Whenever Tequila visits the mansion, she has the room entirely at her disposal. She is often accompanied by the piano of Red Rockridge, ex-head grouper for the Sexy Brutale, and an unusually gifted pianist. I'm guessing I may get somewhere in the ballpark of like 60+%. Ah, crap. Did he just dispose of the body? Is it that time already? There's so many places to check. Howdy, everyone. Just passing through. Ah, crap. I didn't mean to click on you guys. Yeah, I think she's dead now. Are you coming over here? Ah, I thought the changing room would have something in it. Just had to wait for that guy to leave. That's one of the reasons I'm not entirely on getting 100% is that, damn, some of these rooms are occupied for so much of the day that getting the secrets that might be in there is a puzzle unto themselves. The dressing room was created to allow Tequila and any other performers a private space where they could prepare for any shows, of which there were always many at the Sexy Brutale on any given evening. The area was originally another room for displaying instruments and other items from musical history, but these were all hastily stored and locked away in the adjacent storage room. A laundry chute allowed for changes of clothes to be quickly processed by staff, but in later years the room below was converted into an exotic butterfly house, so the chute fell out of use entirely. It may, however, still be connected, not that anyone would put anything down it, of course. Whoops. Speaking of collectibles, the next room down is waiting and has something for me. There we go. The Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades. Instrument pool room. The Marquis liked to say he blew so hard at playing most instruments he almost literally sucked. However, he was an excellent pianist and a general audiophile. When Eleanor sang, the Marquis would frequently accompany her, and playing together was one of their most cherished pastimes. The instrument pool is a shallow ornamental pond surrounded by stone replicas of instruments played by some of the couple's favorite artists, and in the cabinets are instruments owned by famous musicians from history. Every one of them is maintained and kept fully tuned. Any guest at the mansion who is happy to play for an audience is welcome to perform with any instrument they please. This sounds less and less like a place full of, you know, murder. And he has something to say about the fountain out back, huh? What? Where'd it go? Come back. Oh, whenever I walk up to something I can press A on, it goes away. Right. The gardens. The Marquis was an indifferent gardener, but Eleanor loved the mansion grounds, and under her care they flourished. The fountain and its statues were carved from a single block of marble, imported at phenomenal expense, and worked on day and night by Trinity for almost a full year. The full extent of the mansion grounds extends far beyond what can be seen from the terrace. Alright, I think we've reached the point of diminishing returns now. I've spent close to an hour doing a lap around the mansion and poking into each and every little room I could think of, and blowing up anything I hadn't blown up before, opening chests I hadn't opened before, and so on and so forth. And we got a handful of little lore tidbits, some of them interesting, some of them not particularly. I think that's gonna be it for my, like, completionist roundup, I think, for now. Made a little progress. We're at 40 out of 52 cards, 2 out of 9 invitations. Definitely could spend hours and hours hunting down the invitations of characters, because I think you either... I don't know. The 2 I've found so far were cases where you got the invitation from a dead person, but there was the 2 luchador-looking siblings. So I think you can get a lot of them from their corpses, if you can find their corpses, but a lot of their corpses are actually not great for that kind of thing. One person's corpse appears to appear in the garden, where you can't reach it. Another person... Willow Blue is hanging from her neck in the middle of an open area. These 2 both burned to death, so I don't know how many of them you'd be able to reach the corpses of, necessarily. This guy obviously just dies in the open, and so does he. But some of the other ones may be harder. I might have been able to get Reginald Sixpence's corpse by inspecting his body. But I feel like I did inspect his body. Didn't I look at him and then it was like, oh, wow, what a horrible gore pile he is. And like, I think it might have remarked on that. So I'm not really entirely sure there either. I opened you already, right? Yeah, I did. So I'm not sure what the trick is for some of that stuff, but it's neat that it's there for those that want to get it. But I think that I'm ready to continue forward next episode and figure out what the hell's going on in this extended chunk of map that awaits me. We'll find out.